Passion lights the way, purpose drives the change. Together, they can transform the world. Lead with purpose and passion. Inspire action and transform your world. Written by Siren Belthorne and published by Listen, Grow Sleep. Introduction. Welcome to a journey of transformation and inspiration. A journey where we'll explore the profound power of purpose, how it shapes our decisions, drives our actions, and ultimately determines our impact on the world around us. In the quiet moments of reflection, have you ever wondered why some leaders and organizations seem to effortlessly inspire loyalty and action, while others struggle despite having similar resources and talents? What invisible force propels certain movements to change the course of history, while others fade into obscurity? The answer lies not in what these inspiring entities do, but in why they do it. This fundamental distinction, this golden circle of purpose, is what will gently unfold together in the pages ahead. As we move through this audiobook, I invite you to listen with both your mind and your heart. Allow yourself to be present with each concept, each story, each revelation. For in understanding the power of purpose and passion, you'll discover not just how to lead others, but how to lead yourself toward a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. Take a deep breath, center yourself in this moment, and let's begin our exploration of how purpose and passion can transform not just your leadership, but your entire world. Chapter 1. The Golden Circle, starting with why. When we think about leadership and inspiration, we often focus on actions and results, the tangible outcomes we can see and measure. But what if the most powerful aspect of leadership isn't visible at all? What if it begins with something much deeper, a purpose, a cause, a belief? Imagine for a moment that leadership is like a gentle stream. Most people focus on the surface, the ripples, the movement, the destination. But the true power lies in the source, the why behind the flow. This is where our journey begins, with a simple yet profound concept I call the Golden Circle. Picture 3 concentric circles. The outermost circle represents what we do, the middle circle represents how we do it, and the innermost circle, the heart of it all, represents why we do what we do. Every person and every organization knows what they do. Some know how they do it, their special processes or unique approaches. But very few can clearly articulate why they do what they do. And by why, I don't mean to make a profit. Profit is always a result, not a purpose. By why, I mean, what's your purpose? What's your cause? What's your belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? When we communicate from the outside in, starting with what we do, our message may be clear, but it rarely inspires. However, when we communicate from the inside out, starting with why we do what we do, we speak directly to the part of the brain that controls behavior and decision-making. Let me share a calming example that illustrates this difference. Imagine two leaders addressing their teams. The first says, "We make excellent products with cutting-edge technology and competitive prices. We need everyone to work harder to meet our quarterly goals." The second leader takes a different approach. "We believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. We believe our innovative products can change how people experience the world. To bring this vision to life, we need your creativity and dedication." Which message resonates more deeply with you? Which one makes you feel connected to something larger than yourself? The difference is subtle but profound. The first leader communicates from the outside in, starting with what. The second leader communicates from the inside out, starting with why. This pattern appears consistently among inspiring leaders and organizations throughout history. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't just have a plan, he had a dream. Apple doesn't just make computers, they challenged the status quo. The Wright brothers weren't just trying to build a flying machine, they were working to change the course of human history. As you reflect on your own leadership journey, take a moment to close your eyes and breathe deeply. Ask yourself, Do I know my why? Do I lead from purpose? Do I communicate from the inside out? The answer to these questions will illuminate the path ahead, revealing not just how you can do things differently, but how you can inspire others to join your cause. Chapter 2: The Biology of Belief: Why Purpose Resonates. There's something almost magical about the way purpose resonates with us. When we hear someone speak with authentic passion about their beliefs, we feel it viscerally. It's as if their words bypass our analytical mind and speak directly to our heart. But this isn't magic, it's biology. Take another deep breath and imagine we're looking at a cross-section of the human brain from above. What we see is that our brain is actually divided into 3 major components that correlate perfectly with the golden circle we explored in the previous chapter. Our newest brain, the neocortex, corresponds with the what level of the golden circle. This part of the brain is responsible for all our rational and analytical thought and language processing. It's the part that understands features, benefits, facts, and figures. The middle 2 sections make up our limbic brain, which corresponds with the how and why levels. This ancient part of our brain is responsible for all our feelings, such as trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior and decision-making. Interestingly, the limbic brain has no capacity for language. This biological reality explains something profound about human connection and inspiration. When we communicate from the outside in, starting with what we do, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information, but it doesn't drive behavior. However, when we communicate from the inside out, starting with why we do what we do, we speak directly to the part of the brain that controls decision-making. We allow people to connect with us emotionally first, and then rationalize their connection with the tangible things we say and do. This is where those intuitive gut feelings come from. Have you ever been presented with all the facts and figures about a decision, yet still felt that something wasn't right? You might have said, "I know what all the facts and details say, but it just doesn't feel right." We use the verb feel because the part of the brain that controls decision-making doesn't control language. The best we can articulate is that something doesn't feel right. Similarly, when we talk about leading with our heart or soul, we're actually referring to this limbic brain connection, the part that responds to purpose and belief before logic and reason. Close your eyes for a moment and recall a time when you made an important decision based on a gut feeling rather than pure logic. Notice how that decision felt in your body. Perhaps there was a sense of alignment, a quiet knowing that transcended rational analysis. This is the power of purpose at work, not just in our minds, but in our biology. When we lead with why, we create resonance at the deepest level of human experience. Chapter 3: Trust and Loyalty: The Fruits of Purpose-Driven Leadership. In the gentle rhythm of human connection, trust and loyalty emerge not from what we offer others, but from the shared beliefs that bind us together. When we lead with purpose, when our why is clear and compelling, we attract people who believe what we believe. This attraction isn't superficial or transactional, it's profound and enduring. It creates the kind of loyalty that withstands challenges and the kind of trust that transcends typical business relationships. Think about it this way. The goal isn't to do business with everyone who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe. The goal isn't to hire people who simply need a job, but to hire people who believe in your purpose and mission. When you hire someone, just because they can do a job, they'll work for your money. But when you hire someone who believes what you believe, they'll work with their heart and soul. They'll bring their full selves to the work because it's not just a job, it's an extension of their own values and beliefs. Let's revisit the story of the Wright brothers and their lesser-known contemporary, Samuel Pierpont Langley, to understand how purpose creates extraordinary commitment and results. In the early 20th century, the pursuit of powered human flight was the technological frontier of the day. Samuel Pierpont Langley had what appeared to be every advantage in this race. He received substantial funding from the War Department. He held a seat at Harvard and worked at the Smithsonian. He hired the best minds money could find. The New York Times followed his every move, and the public was rooting for his success. Meanwhile, in Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright had none of these advantages. They had no financial backing beyond the proceeds from their bicycle shop. No one on their team had a college education. The press paid them little attention. Yet on December 17th, 1903, it was the Wright brothers who achieved the first powered human flight, not Langley. What made the difference? The Wright brothers were driven by a deep belief that powered flight would change the world. Their purpose transcended fame and fortune. They attracted team members who shared their belief and were willing to persevere through countless failures and setbacks. Langley, by contrast, was motivated primarily by the prospect of fame and recognition. When the Wright brothers succeeded, he abandoned his efforts entirely. He wasn't first, he didn't get rich, he didn't get famous, so he quit. Take a moment to reflect on this contrast. Feel the difference between purpose-driven leadership and result-driven leadership. One creates the kind of commitment that perseveres through failure. The other collapses when the desired results don't materialize. As you consider your own leadership journey, ask yourself, am I creating the conditions for trust and loyalty to flourish? Am I attracting people who believe what I believe? Am I leading in a way that inspires others to bring their full selves to our shared purpose? The answers to these questions will reveal whether you're merely managing people or truly leading them toward a meaningful vision of the future. Chapter 4: The Diffusion of Innovation, Crossing the Chasm. In the quiet evolution of ideas and movements, there exists a natural rhythm, a gentle progression from inception to widespread adoption. Understanding this rhythm can help us navigate the journey from a purpose-driven vision to meaningful impact in the world. This rhythm is described by something called the law of diffusion of innovation. Take a deep breath and visualize a bell curve. This curve represents how ideas and innovation spread through society. On the far left of this curve are the innovators, approximately 2.5% of the population. These are the visionaries, the dreamers, the ones who embrace new ideas before anyone else. Next to them are the early adopters, about 13.5% of the population. These individuals are quick to recognize the value of new ideas and are comfortable making intuitive decisions based on what they believe about the world. The middle of the curve represents the early majority and late majority, each about 34% of the population. These groups are more pragmatic and cautious. They need to see evidence and social proof before embracing something new. And finally, on the far right are the laggards, the last 16% to adopt any innovation. These are the most resistant to change, often embracing new ideas only when they have no other choice. Now, here's the profound insight. If you want your purpose-driven vision to achieve widespread acceptance, you must first reach a tipping point between 15 and 18% market penetration. Once you cross this threshold, your idea can spread rapidly through the mainstream. But how do you reach this tipping point? The answer lies in connecting authentically with innovators and early adopters, those who make decisions based on what they believe rather than just on features and benefits. These are the people who stood in line for 6 hours to buy the first iPhone when it was released, even though they could have walked into the store a week later and purchased one without waiting. They didn't do it because the technology was superior. They did it because of what it said about them and their beliefs. They wanted to be first because being first aligned with their worldview. Close your eyes for a moment and consider, are you trying to appeal to everyone, or are you focusing on connecting deeply with those who share your beliefs? Are you diluting your message to reach the masses, or are you speaking authentically to those who will become your most passionate advocates? The path to widespread impact begins not with convincing the skeptical majority, but with inspiring those who already believe what you believe. When you speak clearly from your why, you attract those who share your purpose. And when you have enough of these believers, the system tips and your vision can spread throughout the mainstream. Let this understanding bring a sense of peace to your leadership journey. You don't need to convince everyone all at once. Focus first on those who are naturally aligned with your purpose, and let the ripple effect of their belief carry your vision forward. Chapter 5: The Power of Authentic Communication Beyond Plans to Purpose. In the gentle art of inspiration, there exists a profound difference between having a plan and having a purpose. Plans speak to the mind, purpose speaks to the heart. Plans outline what needs to be done, purpose illuminates why it matters. Take a moment to breathe deeply and consider the difference between these two approaches to communication. When leaders focus primarily on plans, on detailed strategies, metrics, and tactics, they may gain intellectual agreement but rarely inspire emotional commitment. Their messages may be clear and logical, but they often fail to move people to action. By contrast, when leaders communicate from a place of deep purpose, when they share what they truly believe, they create resonance that transcends rational understanding. They speak to something fundamental in the human experience, our desire to be part of something meaningful, to contribute to something larger than ourselves. Consider the profound example of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his historic "I Have a Dream" speech. In the summer of 1963, 250,000 people gathered on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. to hear him speak. There were no invitations sent. There was no website to check the date. How did so many people know to come together at that precise moment? The answer lies in the power of shared belief. Dr. King wasn't the only great orator in America. He wasn't the only one who had suffered in a pre-civil rights America, but he had a gift for articulating what he believed in a way that resonated with others. He didn't go around telling people what needed to change in America. He went around telling people what he believed. I believe, I believe, I believe, he told people. And those who believed what he believed took his cause and made it their own. Some of those people created structures to get the word out to even more people. And eventually, 250,000 people showed up to hear him speak. But here's the crucial insight. They didn't come for him. They came for themselves. It was what they believed about America that motivated them to travel for hours, to stand in the summer heat, to be part of that historic moment. Notice that Dr. King gave the "I have a dream" speech, not the "I have a plan" speech. He spoke of his vision for a better future, rooted in his deep beliefs about human dignity and equality. He painted a picture of what could be, inviting others to see and feel that possibility alongside him. Close your eyes and feel the difference between these two approaches. One speaks to the analytical mind, offering logical steps and practical solutions. The other speaks to the heart and soul, offering a vision of possibility that resonates at the deepest level of our being. As you consider your own communication as a leader, ask yourself, am I sharing detailed plans or inspiring purpose? Am I speaking primarily to minds or to hearts? Am I offering a strategy or a vision? The most inspiring leaders do both, of course. They have clear plans and practical strategies. But they begin with why, with purpose, with belief, with vision. They understand that people are moved to action not by detailed plans alone, but by a compelling sense of purpose that gives those plans meaning. Chapter 6. The Authentic Leader, Being versus Doing. In the quiet space of self-reflection, there emerges a profound distinction between being a leader and truly leading. One is about position and authority. The other is about inspiration and influence. One is about what you do. The other is about who you are. Take a deep breath and consider this essential truth. There are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold positions of power or authority, but those who lead inspire us. We follow those who lead not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow them not for them, but for ourselves, because they give voice to something we already believe. This distinction invites us to move beyond the conventional understanding of leadership as a set of behaviors or techniques. True leadership begins not with what you do, but with who you are, with the clarity of your purpose, the authenticity of your beliefs, and the consistency of your actions with those beliefs. When you lead from this place of authentic purpose, you create a different kind of relationship with those around you. You don't need to rely on positional authority or external incentives to motivate action. Instead, you tap into the intrinsic motivation that comes from shared belief and common purpose. Think about the leaders who have most inspired you in your own life. Were they the ones with the most impressive titles or the highest salaries? Or were they the ones who embodied something you believed in? Who showed you a way of being in the world that resonated with your own deepest values? True leadership is less about what you achieve and more about what you inspire others to achieve. It's less about the goals you set and more about the purpose that gives those goals meaning. It's less about the direction you provide and more about the vision you share. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself leading not from a place of doing, but from a place of being. Feel the shift from focusing on what needs to be accomplished to focusing on why it matters. Notice how this shift changes not just what you say and do, but how you say and do it, the energy and intention you bring to each interaction. This is the essence of authentic leadership, alignment between your inner purpose and your outer expression. When what you believe, what you say, and what you do are in harmony, you create a resonance that others can feel and trust. You become not just someone with authority, but someone with genuine influence. Someone who inspires others to bring their best selves to a shared purpose. As you continue your leadership journey, remember that the most powerful thing you can offer is not your expertise or your authority, but your authentic self, aligned with a clear and compelling purpose. From this foundation, you can inspire not just compliance or performance, but genuine commitment and passion. In the gentle unfolding of your leadership potential, may you find the courage to lead not just from what you know or what you can do, but from who you are and what you truly believe. Chapter 7. Cultivating Purposeful Organizations, from Inspiration to Transformation. In the sacred space where individual purpose meets collective action, there emerges the possibility of truly transformative organizations. Entities that not only achieve remarkable results, but also nurture the human spirit and contribute meaningfully to the world. Take a deep, centering breath and imagine an organization where every person, from the CEO to the newest hire, shares a profound sense of why they do what they do. Imagine the energy, the commitment, the innovation that would naturally flow from such alignment. This is not a utopian fantasy, but a practical possibility when we understand how purpose functions as the foundation of organizational culture. When an organization clearly articulates its why, its core belief and reason for existence beyond making money, it creates a gravitational field that attracts those who share that belief and repels those who don't. The result is not just greater efficiency or productivity, but a kind of organizational coherence that feels almost magical in its effects. Decisions become clearer. Priorities align naturally. Conflicts diminish. Innovation flourishes. And perhaps most importantly, people bring their whole selves to work, their creativity, their passion, their unique gifts and perspectives. Consider for a moment the difference between an organization built primarily on what it does and one built on why it does it. The first type of organization might achieve success for a time, especially if it has a superior product or service, but it will always be vulnerable to competitors who can offer something better, faster, or cheaper. The second type of organization, the purpose-driven organization, creates loyalty that transcends features and benefits. Its customers don't just buy what it sells, they buy into what it believes. Its employees don't just work for a paycheck, they work for a cause they believe in. This creates resilience and adaptability that no amount of strategic planning alone can provide. Let's return to the example of Apple, a company that has maintained its innovative edge for decades. Apple's success isn't primarily about making great products, though they certainly do that. It's about a core belief in challenging the status quo and thinking differently. This belief attracts both customers and employees who share that value, creating a self-reinforcing ecosystem of innovation and loyalty. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the difference between these two organizational paradigms. One is transactional, focused primarily on what gets done and how efficiently it happens. The other is transformational, focused on why the work matters and how it connects to something meaningful beyond profit and productivity. As you breathe gently, consider your own organization or team. Is it primarily defined by what it does or by why it does it? Do people come to work primarily for a paycheck or for a purpose they believe in? Is your culture built around processes and metrics or around shared beliefs and values? These questions aren't meant to suggest that processes, metrics, and fair compensation aren't important. They absolutely are. But they point to a deeper truth, that the most resilient, innovative, and fulfilling organizations are those that begin with why, with a clear and compelling purpose that inspires genuine commitment rather than mere compliance. The journey toward becoming such an organization begins with clarity, with the courage to articulate not just what you do and how you do it, but why it matters. This clarity then needs to be embodied consistently in every aspect of the organization, from hiring practices to marketing messages, from strategic decisions to daily interactions. When this happens, something remarkable occurs. The organization becomes not just a place to work, but a vehicle for meaning. It becomes not just a provider of products or services, but a catalyst for positive change. It becomes not just a collection of individuals, but a community united by shared purpose and passion. In the gentle rhythm of organizational life, may you find the wisdom to cultivate not just efficiency and productivity, but meaning and purpose. For it is from this foundation that true transformation of individuals, organizations, and ultimately the world becomes possible. Chapter 8. The Ripple Effect. How purpose transforms beyond boundaries. In the interconnected web of human experience, purpose is never contained within the boundaries of a single life or organization. Like a stone dropped into still water, authentic purpose creates ripples that extend far beyond their point of origin, touching lives and systems in ways we may never fully comprehend. Take a moment to breathe deeply and visualize this ripple effect. See how your clarity of purpose, your authentic why, influences not just your immediate actions, but the people around you, the communities you're part of, and potentially the broader world. This ripple effect begins with personal transformation. When you connect with your deepest purpose, when you understand why you do what you do beyond external rewards or recognition, you experience a profound shift in how you show up in the world. Your actions become more aligned, your energy more focused, your presence more authentic and compelling. This personal transformation naturally affects those around you. Without forcing or manipulating, your clarity of purpose creates a field of influence that others can feel. Some will be drawn to this field because it resonates with their own beliefs and values. Others may be challenged by it because it contrasts with their current way of being. But no one remains completely untouched by authentic purpose expressed consistently over time. From this interpersonal influence, the ripples extend to organizational and community transformation. As more individuals within a system connect with shared purpose, the culture of that system begins to shift. New possibilities emerge. Old limitations dissolve. The collective capacity for innovation, resilience, and meaningful impact expands. And from there, the ripples can extend to societal and even global transformation. History shows us that every significant positive change in human society began with individuals and small groups who were deeply connected to a purpose beyond themselves, who believed in possibilities that others couldn't yet see. Consider again the example of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His clarity of purpose, his belief in a world where people would be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, created ripples that transformed not just individual lives, but entire social systems. Those ripples continue to this day, inspiring new generations to work toward greater justice and equality. Or consider the environmental movement, which began with a small number of individuals deeply connected to the purpose of protecting our planet. Their clarity and commitment created ripples that have transformed how billions of people think about their relationship with the natural world. Close your eyes and feel the potential of your own purpose to create similar ripples of positive transformation. Without ego or grandiosity, simply acknowledge that your clarity of why, your authentic connection to purpose beyond yourself, has the power to influence far more than you might imagine. This understanding brings both humility and responsibility. Humility because we recognize that transformation happens not through force or control, but through the natural ripple effect of authentic purpose. Responsibility because we understand that our clarity or confusion about why we do what we do affects not just ourselves, but countless others. As you breathe gently, consider the quality of the ripples you're creating through your leadership and your life. Are they ripples of fear or love, of scarcity or abundance, of competition or collaboration, of meaningless activity or meaningful purpose? The beauty of this ripple effect is that it begins not with trying to change the world, but with clarifying and embodying your authentic purpose in each moment, each interaction, each decision. As you do this consistently over time, the ripples naturally extend outward, creating possibilities for transformation that you may never directly witness, but that are no less real for being beyond your sight. In the sacred unfolding of your leadership journey, may you trust in this ripple effect. May you focus less on controlling outcomes and more on clarifying and embodying your deepest purpose. For it is from this foundation that your greatest contribution to the world will naturally flow. Chapter 9. Embracing the Journey. Patience and Persistence in Purpose-Driven Leadership. In the gentle rhythm of purpose-driven leadership, there exists a beautiful paradox. The path is both immediate and eternal, both simple and profound. It requires both the patience to trust in the unfolding process and the persistence to remain true to your why through all the challenges and distractions that inevitably arise. Take a deep, centering breath and feel the truth of this paradox in your own experience. Perhaps you've had moments of perfect clarity about your purpose, followed by periods of doubt or confusion. Perhaps you've experienced both the immediate power of leading from why and the patience required to see its full effects manifest over time. This rhythm of clarity and confusion, of progress and setback, is not a sign that something is wrong. It is the natural terrain of the purpose-driven leadership journey. Understanding this can bring a profound sense of peace and resilience as you navigate this terrain. The journey begins with discovering your why, uncovering the authentic purpose that has been present in your life all along, often revealed through the patterns of when you've felt most alive, most fulfilled, most connected to something beyond yourself. This discovery is not about creating something new, but about recognizing something that already exists at your core. Once discovered, your why needs to be articulated, put into words that capture its essence in a way that resonates both with you and with others. This articulation is not about crafting a clever mission statement, but about finding language that authentically expresses what you truly believe and why it matters. But the journey doesn't end with articulation. It continues with the daily practice of embodiment, of bringing your why to life through your actions, decisions, and interactions. This is where patience and persistence become essential. For it's one thing to discover and articulate your purpose. It's another to live it consistently through all the complexities and challenges of leadership and life. There will be days when this embodiment feels effortless, when your actions flow naturally from your purpose, when your decisions are clear, when your impact is visible and affirming. Treasure these days. Let them nourish your spirit and strengthen your commitment. There will also be days when embodiment feels impossible, when external pressures push you toward actions that don't align with your why, when the path forward is obscured by fog, when your efforts seem to make no difference. Honor these days too. They are not failures, but opportunities to deepen your understanding and commitment to your purpose. Close your eyes and breathe gently as you consider the terrain of your own leadership journey. Where are you in this cycle of discovery, articulation, and embodiment? What supports do you need to move forward with both patience and persistence? What might be possible if you trusted both the immediate power of purpose and its long-term unfolding? The beauty of purpose-driven leadership is that it's not about reaching a destination, but about how you travel the path. Each step taken in alignment with your why is valuable in itself, regardless of visible outcomes. Each moment of authentic connection with others around shared purpose is meaningful, regardless of what it leads to. Each decision, made from clarity rather than confusion, contributes to the world, regardless of whether you see its effects. This perspective brings a profound freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of immediate results. Freedom from the need for constant external validation. Freedom from the exhaustion of trying to control outcomes. It allows you to lead with both passionate commitment to your purpose and peaceful acceptance of how that purpose unfolds in ways you cannot fully predict or control. As you continue your leadership journey, remember that the most powerful thing you can offer the world is not perfect performance, but authentic presence. Showing up fully with your why as your compass, your center, your source of both direction and meaning. In the sacred space between effort and surrender, between doing and being, between the leader you are today and the leader you are becoming, may you find both the patience to trust the process and the persistence to remain true to your deepest purpose. For it is in this space that the true art of purpose-driven leadership is practiced, and its fruits, both seen and unseen, are harvested. Chapter 10. The Courage to Begin. Taking the first steps toward purpose-driven leadership. In the quiet moments of honest reflection, many of us recognize the gap between how we currently lead and how we aspire to lead, between a leadership driven primarily by external metrics and expectations and one driven by authentic purpose and passion. We see the possibility of something more meaningful, more impactful, more aligned with our deepest values. Yet we hesitate to bridge this gap, held back by fear, uncertainty, or simply the momentum of established patterns. Take a deep, gentle breath and acknowledge this tension if it exists in your own experience. Feel both the pull toward purpose-driven leadership and the forces that seem to hold you in place. This acknowledgement is not about judgment, but about honest awareness, the essential first step toward meaningful change. The journey toward purpose-driven leadership begins not with grand gestures or complete transformation, but with small, intentional steps taken with courage and commitment. Each step creates possibility for the next, gradually building momentum toward a leadership practice that fully embodies your why. Let's explore some of these first steps together, not as a formula to follow, but as possibilities to consider as you chart your own unique path. The first step is often internal, a commitment to clarify your own why. This might involve reflecting on questions like, when have I felt most fulfilled in my work and life? What patterns emerge from these moments? What do they reveal about what matters most to me? What would I stand for even if it brought no external reward or recognition? This reflection isn't about finding the right answer, but about connecting with what feels authentically true for you. Your why is not something you create, but something you discover, a purpose that has been present in your life all along, waiting to be recognized and embraced more fully. Once you've begun to clarify your why, the next step is often to articulate it, to find words that capture its essence in a way that resonates both with you and with others. This articulation doesn't need to be perfect or final. It will likely evolve as you continue your journey. But having language for your purpose helps to anchor it in your awareness and make it more accessible as a guide for your decisions and actions. From this foundation of clarity, you can begin to take small experimental steps toward embodying your why more fully in your leadership. Perhaps you might start a team meeting by sharing not just what needs to be done, but why it matters. Perhaps you might make one decision differently, based not just on metrics and analysis, but on alignment with your core purpose. Perhaps you might have one conversation that goes deeper than usual, exploring shared purpose and meaning, rather than just tasks and timelines. These small steps might feel awkward or uncertain at first. You might worry about how others will respond or whether you're doing it right. This is natural. Any new practice feels unfamiliar before it becomes integrated. The key is to approach these steps not with expectation of perfection, but with curiosity and a willingness to learn. As you take these experimental steps, pay attention to what happens, both externally in terms of how others respond, and internally in terms of how you feel. Notice what works and what doesn't. Notice where you meet resistance, both from others and from your own habitual patterns. Notice where unexpected possibilities emerge. This attentive practice allows you to learn and adjust as you go, gradually expanding your capacity to lead from purpose in more contexts and situations. It's not about forcing change, but about cultivating conditions where authentic purpose can naturally express itself through your leadership. Close your eyes and breathe gently as you imagine taking one small step toward more purpose-driven leadership in the coming days. See yourself acting from clarity rather than confusion, from authentic purpose rather than external pressure. Feel the potential difference this might make, both for you and for those you lead. Remember that the journey toward purpose-driven leadership is not about reaching a destination, but about how you travel the path. Each step taken in alignment with your why is valuable in itself, regardless of visible outcomes. Each moment of authentic connection with others around shared purpose is meaningful, regardless of what it leads to. The courage to begin this journey, to take even one small step toward leading more fully from your why, is itself a profound act of leadership. It demonstrates a commitment to authenticity, meaning, and positive impact that can inspire others to embark on their own journeys of purpose. In the sacred space of new beginnings, may you find both the clarity to know your why and the courage to let it guide your leadership more fully. For it is through such authentic, purpose-driven leadership that we not only transform our organizations, but contribute to the healing and evolution of our world. Chapter 11, Living Your Legacy, the Lasting Impact of Purpose-Driven Leadership. As our journey through the landscape of purpose-driven leadership nears completion, let's take a moment to breathe deeply and expand our perspective. We've explored the power of starting with why, the biology of belief, the fruits of trust and loyalty, the diffusion of innovation, the art of authentic communication, the essence of true leadership, the cultivation of purposeful organizations, the ripple effect of purpose, the patience and persistence required for the journey, and the courage to begin. Now, let's consider the lasting legacy that emerges from a life and leadership grounded in authentic purpose. In the gentle rhythm of human existence, we each leave an imprint on the world, a legacy that continues to influence others long after our direct involvement has ended. For those who lead from purpose, this legacy transcends the usual metrics of success. It's measured not just in achievements or accolades, but in the lives touched, the values embodied, and the positive change catalyzed. Take a deep, centering breath and imagine looking back on your leadership journey from a distant future perspective. What would you want to see? What impact would you want to have had? What difference would you want to have made in the lives of those you led and the communities you served? Legacy thinking invites us to expand our time horizon, to consider not just the immediate results of our leadership, but its long-term ripple effects. It asks us to lead not just for today, but for tomorrow, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. This perspective naturally emerges from purpose-driven leadership. When we're clear about our why, about what truly matters to us beyond external rewards or recognition, we naturally make decisions that serve not just short-term interests, but long-term well-being. We naturally consider not just what works now, but what will continue to create value and meaning over time. Consider the legacy of leaders who have most inspired you. What made their impact enduring? Was it primarily what they achieved, or was it who they were and how they showed up in the world? Was it the specific changes they implemented, or was it the values they embodied and the purpose they served? For most truly inspiring leaders, their most significant legacy lies not in specific accomplishments, but in how they influenced others' ways of being and seeing. They left behind not just results, but ripples. Ongoing waves of positive influence that continue to spread in ways they could never have fully predicted or controlled. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, for example, extends far beyond the specific civil rights legislation he helped to catalyze. His enduring impact lies in how he changed our collective vision of what's possible, in the values of equality and justice he embodied, in the inspiration he continues to provide for new generations working toward a more just and equitable world. Similarly, in organizations, the most significant legacy of purpose-driven leaders often lies not in specific products or profits, but in the culture they help to create. A culture where people are connected to meaningful purpose, where they bring their full selves to work, where they collaborate in service of something larger than individual success. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the potential legacy of your own purpose-driven leadership. Without ego or grandiosity, simply acknowledge that how you lead today, The purpose you embody, the values you express, the way you treat others, creates ripples that will continue long after this moment has passed. This understanding brings both humility and inspiration. Humility because we recognize that our legacy is not something we can fully control or predict. Inspiration because we understand that even our smallest actions, when aligned with authentic purpose, can contribute to positive change that extends far beyond our direct influence. As you breathe gently, consider how legacy thinking might influence your leadership choices today. How might your decisions shift if you considered not just immediate outcomes, but long-term impact? How might your interactions change if you recognized each one as part of your living legacy? The beauty of purpose-driven leadership is that it naturally aligns with legacy thinking. When we lead from why, from authentic purpose and passion, we're already oriented toward contribution rather than just achievement, toward meaning rather than just success. We're already creating a legacy worthy of our deepest values and highest aspirations. This alignment between purpose and legacy creates a profound sense of integrity in our leadership, a wholeness that comes from knowing that our daily actions are consistent with our most meaningful aims. It allows us to lead not from anxiety about results or comparison with others, but from a centered place of clarity about what truly matters. In the sacred space of legacy creation, may you find both the wisdom to discern what's truly important and the courage to align your leadership with those priorities. For it is through such alignment that your leadership becomes not just effective in the moment, but meaningful across time, a living legacy that continues to inspire and influence long after your direct involvement has ended. Chapter 12. The integration of purpose, bringing your why into every dimension of life. As we approach the culmination of our exploration of purpose-driven leadership, let's expand our perspective once more to consider how purpose integrates across all dimensions of life. For true purpose is not compartmentalized. It doesn't belong only to our professional roles or organizational contexts. It flows through every aspect of our existence, creating coherence and meaning across the full spectrum of our human experience. Take a deep, expansive breath and feel the artificial boundaries between different areas of your life softening and dissolving. Your purpose, your authentic why, is not just about how you lead at work. It's about how you show up in your relationships, how you engage with your community, how you care for your health, how you nurture your spirit, how you contribute to the world. When we recognize this integration, something remarkable happens. The false dichotomies that often create stress and fragmentation in our lives, work versus family, professional versus personal, success versus well-being, begin to dissolve. We begin to see that the same purpose can express itself in different ways across different contexts, creating not division, but harmony, not competition, but synergy. Consider how your why might manifest across various dimensions of your life. How does it show up in your closest relationships? How does it influence your approach to your physical and mental well-being? How does it guide your engagement with your community and the broader world? How does it inform your relationship with yourself, your inner dialogue, your self-care practices, your personal growth? The integration of purpose across these dimensions doesn't mean they all look the same or receive equal time and attention in every season of life. It means that they're all informed by the same core values and beliefs, all oriented toward the same fundamental why. This integration creates a profound sense of coherence in our lives, a feeling that the various parts of who we are and what we do make sense together, that they're aligned in service of what truly matters to us. This coherence, in turn, generates a kind of energy and resilience that's impossible to access when our lives feel fragmented or compartmentalized. Close your eyes and breathe gently as you imagine what this integration might look like in your own life. See yourself moving through your day with a consistent sense of purpose, expressing your why in different ways across different contexts, but always connected to the same core values and beliefs. Feel the ease and flow that comes from this alignment, the sense of being fully yourself in every setting, rather than playing different roles that feel disconnected or even contradictory. This integration doesn't happen automatically or overnight. It requires intentional reflection and practice. It involves asking regularly, how does my purpose express itself in this context? What would alignment look like here? What small shifts might bring greater coherence between this area of my life and my core why? It also requires courage, the courage to challenge conventional boundaries and expectations, to make choices that might seem unconventional, but that honor your authentic purpose across all dimensions of life. This might mean reimagining success to include not just professional achievement, but personal well-being and positive impact. It might mean restructuring your time and energy to reflect your true priorities rather than external pressures or cultural norms. As you breathe deeply, consider one area of your life where you sense an opportunity for greater alignment with your purpose. What small shift might bring more coherence between this area and your core? Why? What might be possible if you allowed your purpose to express itself more fully in this dimension? The beauty of this integration is that it creates a virtuous cycle. As we align more dimensions of our life with our purpose, our clarity about that purpose deepens. As our clarity deepens, we find new ways to express our why across different contexts. As we express our why more consistently, we experience greater coherence and fulfillment. And as we experience greater coherence and fulfillment, our capacity to lead from purpose expands. In the gentle unfolding of this integration, may you find both the clarity to recognize your purpose across all dimensions of life and the courage to align your choices with that purpose. For it is through such alignment that we experience not just effective leadership, but wholehearted living, a life where our outer expressions consistently reflect our inner values, where our various roles and responsibilities harmonize in service of what truly matters. Chapter 13. The ongoing evolution of purpose, growing with your why. As we move toward the completion of our journey together, let's acknowledge a fundamental truth about purpose. It is not static, but dynamic, not fixed, but evolving. While the core of your why, the essential values and beliefs that drive you, may remain relatively stable, how you understand, articulate, and express that purpose naturally evolves throughout your life and leadership journey. Take a deep, flowing breath and feel the dynamic nature of purpose, how it grows and deepens through experience, how it reveals new dimensions through challenges and opportunities, how it responds to the changing contexts and needs of your life and the world around you. This evolution doesn't mean your purpose is inconsistent or unreliable. Rather, it reflects the natural development of your understanding and capacity over time. Just as a tree remains the same organism while growing new branches and deepening its roots, your purpose remains your authentic core while expanding into new expressions and deeper understanding. Consider how your sense of purpose has evolved throughout your life so far. Perhaps there were early intuitions or interests that hinted at your why, even before you had language for it. Perhaps there were pivotal experiences that clarified or deepened your understanding of what truly matters to you. Perhaps there were challenges or setbacks that tested your purpose and ultimately strengthened your commitment to it. This evolution continues throughout your leadership journey. As you gain experience, as you encounter new challenges and opportunities, as you witness the impact of your leadership on others, your understanding of your why naturally deepens and expands. You discover new dimensions of your purpose, new ways to express it, new contexts where it can create value and meaning. Close your eyes and breathe gently as you imagine the continuing evolution of your purpose in the years ahead. Without trying to predict specific details, simply open to the possibility that your why will reveal new facets, new expressions, new depths as you continue your leadership journey. Feel the aliveness and growth potential in this ongoing evolution. This perspective brings both humility and excitement to our relationship with purpose. Humility because we recognize that our current understanding is not final or complete. There's always more to discover about our why and how it wants to express through us. Excitement because this ongoing evolution keeps our purpose fresh and responsive, preventing it from becoming rigid or formulaic. The key to navigating this evolution with grace is to hold your purpose with both commitment and openness. Commitment to the core values and beliefs that define your why. Openness to new understanding and expression of those values and beliefs. This balance allows your purpose to be both a stable foundation and a growing edge in your leadership and life. As you breathe deeply, consider where you might be experiencing this evolution right now. Are there new dimensions of your purpose emerging? New contexts where your why wants to express itself? New understanding of what your core values and beliefs mean in practice? New capacities that allow you to embody your purpose more fully? The beauty of this ongoing evolution is that it keeps your purpose alive and relevant throughout your leadership journey. It prevents your why from becoming a static formula or a rigid identity. It allows your purpose to respond to the changing needs and opportunities of your life and the world around you. In the sacred dance of stability and growth, may you find both the rootedness to remain connected to your core purpose and the flexibility to allow that purpose to evolve. For it is through this dynamic relationship with your why that your leadership remains both authentic and adaptive, both grounded and growing. As our journey through the landscape of purpose-driven leadership comes to a close, let's take a moment to breathe deeply and reflect on the path we've traveled together. We've explored the power of starting with why, the biology of belief, the fruits of trust and loyalty, the diffusion of innovation, the art of authentic communication, the essence of true leadership, the cultivation of purposeful organizations, the ripple effect of purpose, the patience and persistence required for the journey, the courage to begin, the creation of a lasting legacy, the integration of purpose across all dimensions of life, and the ongoing evolution of purpose throughout our leadership journey. Through it all, a central truth has emerged. Purpose is not just a nice-to-have addition to effective leadership, it is the foundation from which truly transformative leadership grows. When we lead from a clear and compelling why, we tap into something fundamental in human experience. Our desire to be part of something meaningful, to contribute to something larger than ourselves, to align our actions with our deepest values and beliefs. This alignment creates a kind of resonance that extends far beyond the boundaries of our individual lives or organizations. Like ripples in a pond, our clarity of purpose touches others, inspiring them to connect with their own sense of why and to bring that purpose more fully into their work and lives. Imagine for a moment the cumulative effect of this ripple, of more and more individuals and organizations leading from authentic purpose rather than just position or profit. Imagine the innovation, the collaboration, the positive impact that could emerge from such a shift. Imagine a world where people come to work not just to earn a living, but to express their unique gifts in service of something they truly believe in. This vision is not utopian fantasy, but practical possibility. It begins not with trying to change the world, but with each of us clarifying and embodying our own authentic purpose, with leading from why in our own spheres of influence, however large or small they may be. The journey of purpose-driven leadership is both deeply personal and inherently connected. It involves the inner work of discovering and clarifying your own why, and the outer work of expressing that purpose in ways that inspire and elevate others. It requires both the courage to stand for what you truly believe and the humility to recognize that your purpose is part of something larger than yourself. As you continue your leadership journey beyond our time together, remember that the most powerful thing you can offer is not your expertise or your authority, but your authentic self, aligned with a clear and compelling purpose. From this foundation, you can inspire not just compliance or performance, but genuine commitment and passion. In the quiet moments of decision, when you're choosing how to lead, how to communicate, how to show up for those who look to you for guidance, may you find the courage to start with why, to connect with your deepest purpose and let it guide your words and actions. For it is through such purpose-driven leadership that we not only achieve remarkable results, but contribute to a more meaningful, connected, and flourishing world. One decision, one interaction, one ripple at a time. Take a final deep breath, feeling the potential of your own purpose to create positive ripples far beyond what you can see or measure. Feel the connection between your individual why and the collective evolution of leadership and human systems. Feel both the responsibility and the joy of leading from purpose. And as you exhale, commit to taking one small step today toward leading more fully from your why, toward inspiring action and transforming your world through the power of purpose and passion. For the journey of purpose-driven leadership is not a destination to reach, but a path to walk, step by step, day by day, moment by moment. with both courage and grace, both passion and peace.